Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Teen Talk Central. In this week's episode, we're talking about the impacts of constant scrolling on mental health and giving real teen relevant tips for taking intentional breaks from social media this summer without feeling totally out of the loop. If this is something that you are interested in or you just want to hear more about, definitely continue listening to this week's episode. Hello, it's Mia, and welcome back to another episode. I'm really excited for this week's episode because I feel like it's something that I've thought about a lot, and I feel like a lot of people might think about doing during the summer, which is taking breaks from social media and how to unplug. Also, if you hear a fan in the background, I'm still at my summer camp, and it's still really hot, so I'm sorry for the background noise. So let's get into it. First, as always, the psychology behind it. There are 3 things I want to talk about today: dopamine and reward loops, social media comparison theory, and digital boundaries. So dopamine and reward loops, it's basically social media is designed to hook your brain because these short videos and stuff, they produce dopamine in the brain, and then it's the feel good thing in your body. So you're just like, oh my god, I'm craving for more dopamine, and then eventually you kind of get hooked on it and you're addicted like a drug, and then it kind of keeps going on, and then eventually you don't know how, not necessarily that you don't know how to feel good without it, but it's in order for you to feel really, really good, you want to have some extra dopamine in your system, and then reward loops because it just keeps happening over and over and over again, that it never really stops. Next is social comparison theory. I think we've talked about this one before, but it's the constant exposure to highlights makes you feel even worse because you're constantly comparing yourself to what other people are doing and how other people are living their lives. And that's definitely not something that we should be doing. Just because someone else seems to be having the best time of their life, it's only the highlights. Maybe they do have bad days. So always remember that you can't compare what you see on social media because it's always a highlight reel, and that's what social media is supposed to be. It's supposed to be a place where you can kind of put in your happy content so other people can feel happy, but also if you start getting into the mindset that everyone's always happy and that person never has anything kind of bad in their life, then that's wrong. And then finally, we have digital boundaries. Small breaks can actually improve your mood, focus, and self-esteem. So even though it might be hard, taking breaks from social media like Snapchat, Instagram, TikTok can actually be very beneficial for your mental health and mental well-being because, as we know, if you continue to compare yourself, then you can go down an awful spiral. So the summer scroll trap is what I like to call it. It's more free time equals more screen time, and that is not something that we should be doing. Right? Just because you're free more because you're not going to school for 8 hours a day does not mean you should be scrolling on TikTok for 8 hours a day. If you want some fun ideas to do over the summer, look back at some of my other episodes. We're talking about summer internships, summer jobs, how to be creative and fun. And constant scrolling feels good, but I think it can leave me more drained because I feel like I didn't actually learn anything. I think for me, I would rather play a video game that actually uses my brain for strategies than to scroll on TikTok, because then at least I know I'm still using my brain. When you're on TikTok and you're mindlessly scrolling, you're not actually using your brain for anything besides moving your finger up and down and liking the video. So if you want to kind of find something to do instead of that, maybe a video game would be great, but one that uses your brain, like Minecraft or Block Blasters or something like that. But you might be wondering, well, I can't do that, and it's why is it so hard to unplug? It's because of FOMO. We've talked about FOMO in so many episodes. It's so applicable to anything else. But FOMO is the fear of missing out. And basically, it's if I am not responding to my friends' texts, if I'm not on Instagram 24/7 or TikTok, I'm going to miss what people post. And that is definitely just not the case at all. But obviously, it's a very kind of strong thing that happens, especially in our current society, where you do have access to what everyone is doing basically at all times. And then the brain's reward system and notifications, again, the whole dopamine thing, and then the notifications on your phone can probably make it harder to ignore it. That's why I try to turn off all my notifications on every app, but it is hard sometimes because on Snapchat, I do have to use that to text certain people from my camp and classmates and stuff, or just friends, and catch up with them. So obviously I know it's not possible to maybe turn off notifications for everything, but for example, Instagram and TikTok, do you really need notifications for that? Probably not. And then also, kind of like FOMO, you just feel like you're being out of the loop, at least in my opinion. I feel like I'm just not experiencing everything at the same time, and by the time I do go back on social media, it might feel oh, it's been so long. So here's how I would do the whole muting or taking a break without fully disappearing. I would mute the apps for hours, not days. So for example, from the hours of 8 a.m. to 3 p.m., I'm not going to use my phone. I would have screen time on it or whatever. And that essentially allows you to make sure that you're not on your phone during those times. Maybe ask a parent to set the password so that you can actually lock in and focus and maybe do an internship or do a summer craft or a job that might be more beneficial for you rather than just scrolling on TikTok. Obviously, if your summer internship or whatever involves social media, then that's obviously a completely different thing, because then you have to use it. But it's more of, how do I what's the difference between using my laptop or my computer and the social media apps, Okay, next is setting social media hours for yourself. So I try to do this only in the afternoon maybe, but obviously it becomes very hard after I'm done with all my schoolwork and studying, then I can do it. So that's kind of the setting the hours, but maybe it works for you, maybe it doesn't work for you. I think also the whole setting screen time is really good, at least for me. And let me tell you guys the benefits when you actually do unplug. You are definitely more present in your life. I think even though on social media you can feel present with what other people are doing, you're fully focused in your current life and what you are doing right now, which I think is really important, because I think everyone has to remember we only live once. Experiences and memories are so important, and I love to capture them on camera and stuff, but also I do like to just keep them for myself and keep them in my brain, because it's just more real life presence that I think some people really do need. And you never know, maybe that's the last time you'll see this person in a long time. Maybe they're traveling, and do you really just want to be on TikTok with that person the whole day? No, you want to actually be having fun, exploring, whatever. Next is less comparison, more confidence. I think that if you take a social media detox, you can also boost your confidence, because of the fact that you are not going to constantly be comparing yourself to other people and other people's lives. We also talked about this in the comparison episode, but if you take a little break, then you can actually feel a lot better about yourself, which is what I've done sometimes. If I feel I'm comparing myself a little bit too much, then I would get off social media maybe for a couple hours, maybe a day or two, and just make sure that I kind of find myself again. And then also it just gives you time to space to think, reflect, and reset, because it allows for more intentional meditation, which we talked about a couple episodes ago, maybe last episode. And yeah, it's really important to just take time and get to know yourself and the mind and the body. So I have a mini challenge for you. I want you to go 24 hours feed free. I'll try it too, and we can all see how it goes, and then either mute or log off your most draining apps. If that's TikTok for you, then get off TikTok and replace 20 minutes of scrolling with something for you. Walk, journal, playlist, anything. I think walking is the best because it doesn't feel like 20 minutes, and I personally love walking. But if walking is not for you and you're more of a journal person or whatever, then do that and replace that, because at the end of the day, phones are fun and all, but you should be living in the moment, not living in the past. I think that's something really important. I think social media is a highlight reel, but you're also just living in the past when you look at other people's social medias. Don't live in the past, live in the present. I think that's really important. And remember, unplugging isn't about disappearing. It's about protecting your peace and your energy and your confidence, which is really important, because if you don't have confidence in yourself, I think it kind of exudes out to other people, in my opinion at least. So stay confident in yourself and stay true to what you believe in. And yeah, that was it for this week's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know I did. And I will be doing this little social media detox with you as well. So yeah, I love you guys so much. Thank you for listening to another week of Teen Talk Central. Thank you guys for all the support. And if you guys have any episode questions or recommendations, definitely leave them on our highlight. And I love you guys so much, and I'll see you guys in next week's episode. Bye guys.